past week, I went out with my friend Al Gator to the woods, and we let go of some monarch butterflies. And it's incredible to see the transformation that happens in nature, and that we are part of that. I'm grateful to be here this morning with Jeremy Geer and Megan Lassman, and we are continuing with the Extravagant Promises series. My name is Maureen Muldoon, and I'm the spiritual mother of this community, and I feel so blessed to be part of this international community of extraordinary teachers. Just this past week, we had so many classes, like I was saying, take place. We had Amy from Toronto, Amy Anderson, host this incredible Ho'oponopono practice. We had Liz Wasserman from here in Chicago do a Mary Magdalene meditation that literally blew my mind. I was like, what happened? and Jeannie Laporte will be anchoring our Day of Peace, our International Day of Peace. All of these sacred movement, like we have so many amazing teachers, and all of that is available on the website. Mari will tell you more about that a little later on. But it's great to be right here, right now with you. And we love being in community with you. And if this is your first time, welcome to our community. If this is your second time, welcome back. And if this is your third time, maybe you might consider this your spiritual community. We hope that you make it your spiritual home, because Speakeasy is a place to be known and to know about the limitless nature of God. It's an incubator of awesomeness where we love making and watching and witnessing dreams come true, where we, hold the space for you to be able to be the most optimal version of yourself. We are a virtual community with a global message. If you show up here, maybe you have something to share, and we would love to know what that is. The vision of Speakeasy is a place to take a class and teach a class. Today, Sherry Ransom is going to be doing our mission and vision statement, and Megan Lassman is going to be anchoring the talk. The talk is a conversation starter, and the conversation is the most important part. The conversation that comes after the talk, because we invite you at Speakeasy to find your voice, your truth, share your thoughts, your inspirations, your awareness, your questions. Sometimes it's really hard to find our voices, and so we attempt to make this a place where you can begin to do that. We ask you not to leave your brains or your beliefs or your backgrounds at the door. We don't have all the answers, but we love, love, love entertaining all of the questions. We exist on the generosity of our community members, and also on our own ability to work the spiritual principles such as tithing, and we do tithe. Our community tithes to the Foundation for Inner Peace. This past week, we tithed to Sacred Movement, and we've been tithing to some of our other practitioners who have been doing so much great work in our community. So it's a practice that we believe in. We'll put a link in our chat later on, so you can be in exchange with your good. So Speakeasy is a diverse and progressive spiritual community sharing a message of love and engaging in conversations that promote creative expression and spiritual well-being. We say that truth is our passion, that love is our religion, that care is our currency, and that peace is our goal. And we're going to be talking a lot about peace today. We attempt to speak easily about tough and tender topics so that we can help each other navigate life with a little bit more grace and ease. I'd like to devote this time in this service to the Divine Mother, to Mary Magdalene, to Jesus, to Buddha, to all of the names of God and all of the saints and enlightened teachers and their teachings, specifically the teachings of A Course in Miracles. And I'm going to pass this to Sherry.
We'll all settle in our chairs, because I believe we're all in our chairs, and just relax. Bow your heads, tuck your chins, and take a deep breath as we step into the knowing that is always available to us. Today, we release all that keeps us from being who we really are, the light of the world. We begin today knowing that God is all there is. We know that He is spirit, love, and divine guidance. There is no separation. There is no separation, and there are no exceptions. We are all the sons of the God who is all there is. Today, we recognize the empowerment within ourselves to light the way for ourselves and others. We call upon that power from God through His spirit, love, and divine guidance to travel with us on this journey of realization of His planned perfection. We thank God for this joining of spirits and we bow to his will as it becomes ours. We release this into the hands of God for his safekeeping and assistance as we walk this path to oneness. We take another deep breath, and together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. All right. So now I'm going to invite up Megan Lassman. Megan is our teacher for this whole series. And I said to her earlier that I feel like she's the teenage kid with the, hot and heavy for the keys to just drive the car. And I'm the cool mom. So it's sad.
So it's so cute.
Not a sad interpretation, but I'm so happy to sit side saddle with you, and I'm excited about the stories that I know are going to take us on a ride. So I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. So welcome back, everybody, to our third week of Extravagant Promises. And so we're halfway through, and in AA, there's a saying that says you're going to be amazed before you're halfway through. I feel amazed about how much I have grown, but can I tell you a story? So after I finished my 5th step with my sponsor, I leave her house and I'm like so grumpy. I was like, whoa, I don't feel any different. There was no white light moment. So I jump on the phone with my girlfriend, Celeste, who you guys is hysterical. And I was like, this is bullshit. I don't feel amazed. It's halfway through. I'm on the 6th step. And she goes, okay, slow down. First of all, dum-dum, it's amazed before you're halfway through with the 9th step. And I was like, oh, so all of this to say, if you don't feel amazing this morning, I hope that there's something that we say that makes you feel a little bit better, right? And if not, who cares? Keep coming back. We love you. These extravagant promises really are amazing. So we're going to read through them again, just to give you a recap of all of the promises before we talk about 5 and 6. So promise number 1 is we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness.
2, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it.
3, we will comprehend the word serenity.
4, we will know peace.
5, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others.
6, the feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear.
7, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows.
8, self-seeking will slip away.
9, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change.
10, fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us.
11, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us.
And 12, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for ourselves what we could not do for ourselves, doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. That last one is like, well, they're all a total game changer, but that last one, like when Beth was talking about being in the flow, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes. So we're focusing on 5 and 6. And so 5 says, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. So in order to understand how far down the scale I have gone, I really feel like I needed to be able to admit to God, to myself, and another human being, right? What happened to me when I believed that I was broken, unworthy, and unlovable. So that's actually also step 5 in AA. So it's not only beginning to understand, but actually say out loud, like the exact nature of the trespasses that I made against myself and against other people. So I'm going to share yet another experience I had with a doctor this week, because I shared a real zinger with you guys last time. So this one, though, it really showed me how my ego speaks first and loudest, how I felt when someone called me out for it, and the choice I made once I had a mirror held to my face. So we have a 3-week-old puppy. His name is Cream Cheese. And he was hospitalized again for pneumonia. I think we have a photo of cream cheese. So hold on, you guys, you're going to get a visual. This is his second bout with pneumonia, right? So we took him to the animal hospital, like ER. He was immediately put into an oxygen chamber, given tons of IV medications. And the doctor said that we needed to wait 24 hours to get a better understanding of his prognosis. So mind you, having an animal on oxygen costs a small fortune. So every hour racks up like hundreds of dollars. And so being oxygen dependent for him meant there was a real chance he was not going to survive. So I called the next day, right, for a really, oh, look, you guys, there they are. So one is bagel and one is cream cheese. So cute. So I called the next day, right, to talk to the vet to get like that crucial update. And she said, we're going to need to continue him on oxygen. There was no improvement whatsoever. His progress is still very much unknown, but they'll just continue to run more tests. And that's when I lost it. I was like, I really lost it. Like I was yelling and screaming and I lost my mind. And I was like, what kind of facility has the nerve to charge like the kind of money for oxygen? And then when we actually, brought him in, they were like, well, if he needs CPR, are you willing to pay $500 up front? And I was like, what? Like, I mean, I just tacked that on because I was like, this is great. I mean, it justifies how angry I am at them. And as you can hear, right? So my financial fear has me completely justified in ripping this doctor apart, right? And I was using very colorful language while I was doing it. And she paused. And then she said to me, Megan, this way of communicating is really unhelpful. And using profanities was disrespectful and really only hurting our ability to be able to hear each other. Wow. I was just shocked, so like right there, my indignant response, my scarcity mindset, my victim mentality, it just like came to this screeching halt because she was asking me to look at my behavior. She actually like held up a mirror and I was mortified. Like I felt that familiar, that like warm wash of shame come over me. And then here's the miracle. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for speaking to you that way. I really let my emotions get the best of me. And I'm sorry. And it was that moment when a weight was lifted. Tears are rolling down my face as she continues to talk about cream cheese, right? And her whole tone turns empathetic, and I cry into the phone. And we hang up. And oh my God, he's so cute, you guys. And the next day I called for an update and she starts talking and I just like interrupt her. I was like, listen, Dr. Irwin, I have to tell you something. I'm going to take that interaction and I'm going to carry that with me wherever I go, because your handling of that heated moment was beautiful. And it's really something I sincerely hope that I can emulate. So in that moment, I guess I admitted to like myself, God, and Dr. Irwin, exactly what I had done wrong. And so that's how I was kind of actively practicing step 5. I don't always do it, but that's a really good example in that story.
Yeah. Yeah. It sometimes before we get to the revelation of these character defects, the fact that you say like she held a mirror up for you, even when someone holds a mirror up for us, it's so generously. Even then, it's so hard to see it, right? I was at a meeting this past week where I said I was going to lead the meeting, and then I promptly forgot that I was going to lead the meeting, and then I showed up indignantly to the meeting. And I was like, why do I gotta be the leader? And I was like, why can't somebody else lead sometime? Okay, obviously there was something underneath that. And then it was pointed out to me that I, in fact, did say, oh my God, it is just layer after layer of shame and embarrassment, and the ego will get us coming and going. And we just have to take it easy and just like let ourselves recalibrate to a peaceful mindset and go, okay, this is for me. And when it's for me, I can actually free myself, and I can actually use it to share with other people. So thank you for being so brave.
Oh, I'm just going to keep coming back. Like, I'm learning so much, and that's just a really good story. But so here's the thing, as we're looking at step 6, right? It's asking God to remove all of our defects of character. But you said something like, we need to be willing to have those defects of character pointed out to us and be willing to try something differently, right? Like, I love the definition of insanity because I love to do the same thing over and over and expect different results.
Right.
And that doesn't really get me anywhere. So, but I just wanted to say to everybody, if you're not in a 12-step program, these spiritual principles are life-changing, right? So can I share a story about my girlfriend, Elizabeth?
Please do.
Elizabeth, I love her. So I did ask her if she would let me share this, so she knows I'm sharing it. So I've known her for a very long time, and we were hanging out, and she, just giving me an update on her life. And then ultimately it circles back to this deep-seated pain and resentment that she has against a neighbor. Okay. And I've heard this before, so it's not the first time I've heard the story of the neighbor. And she kind of launches in, and I was like, whoop, how about we just pause for a second? I said, do you want to be free of that? And she was like, okay, so here's the thing, Megan, like, I was on your service last Sunday. Okay. Like, I heard you and Maureen. I don't know what you were talking about, right? You're using all these words and this lingo, and like, you guys are just way further ahead of me. And I was like, no, we're not. I said, just come back to this point. Would you like to be free? And she said, yes. And so I said, okay, I can help you have miracle-minded thinking. And she was like, okay, Megan. She wanted to start rehashing the problem at the level of the problem again. And I was like, here's the thing. Here's what I know. Somebody's always got to be wrong so that I can feel right. I love that, right? Somebody's always got to be bad so that I can be good. But what does that get us? You're still in pain, carrying around this very old grievance that happened like months ago. FYI, it happened over text. And my sponsor had always said to me, we don't communicate over text, Megan, because everything gets misconstrued. So anyway, I say to Elizabeth, how about this? I'm just going to give you an idea and you tell me what you think. How about you bring her a muffin or a bun cake or a cupcake and a card, and you say, I'm sorry. I wish I could have handled this differently. Please forgive me. And she was like, oh, and I mean, this is over the phone, but I could feel her like, and I said, exactly that, Elizabeth, that is vulnerability. That's what I'm asking you to lean into. Sucks. Awful. Let me guess. Your head's telling you every single reason why you are justified in your anger. And she was like, yes. And I was like, awesome. We're going to do this anyway. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay. So I said, real short and simple, girlfriend, in the card. Real short, right? Let's not get off track. So she says, okay, fine. And she sends me a text. She's like, this is what I'm going to say. So I'm going to do. I was like, okay, great. Hang up the phone. Get ready. So an hour later, she calls me. Megan, she called me. She said, thank you. You have no idea how much that gesture meant to me.
Hmm.
What you said triggered me in a way that I wasn't able to talk to you about.
Hmm.
Let's get coffee. Let's go for a walk. Let's talk on the phone again. And Elizabeth heard her and gave her the space to talk about how she triggered her. And she just said, I'm sorry. And then she's like, it's amazing. And I said, yes, that's a miracle, Elizabeth. There you go. That is it. That's miracle-minded thinking. I said, do you feel free? And she said, yes.
Mhm.
Right. That's it right there. And so it's just a beautiful example
Yeah.
of these tools that can be used by anybody in or out of the program.
Yeah, but I will say that, it's so hard to pick up the tools. I remember one time I was in Los Angeles and I was producing the show, and it was like total storm and so much ego. And it just basically blew up, and a friendship blew up with it. And I was working as a spiritual practitioner. And I was like, I want to help people heal their relationships. And I had a broken relationship on the back burner. And the Holy Spirit's like, yeah, how's that going to work? So it was like, you need to go to her and say, we're willing to do anything to heal the relationship. And I was like, yeah, give me something else, because I'm not doing that. And it's like, no, you just call her and you say, look, I want to help other people heal their relationships. I can't carry this dead relationship around. Like, I will be willing to do whatever you want to heal this relationship. So humbling. And what she said to me was, I want to do the show again. And I was like, oh dear God, no, this show was my major classroom. But then, I ended up doing it again, but not the way I had done it the first time. I ended up doing it with asking for help and not being a martyr. And that was the show that actually brought me to Chicago. So some of these doors that we do not want to go through, that we kick and scream, they're actually the threshold to your greater good. I mean, I've seen that happen so many times.
Yes, you're so right. You're so right, because I would never have been able to, in essence, like channel this thought and like guide Elizabeth through this if I hadn't had to have done this myself many times and still do it myself. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So it comes down to sort of like seeing your fears and facing them, and knowing that they're going to accompany you, and knowing that your knees are going to rattle when you say you're sorry, and knowing you're going to feel like shit for like a second, but you're going to get over it. But fear is a part of the equation. I know you have a great quote about.
So good. It's so good. So another amazing Elizabeth, Elizabeth Gilbert. I always paraphrase this quote when I talk to my sponsees, because really what I feel like the biggest character defect, like at the heart of all defects, is fear. And so she wrote this open letter to fear, and it's amazing. She says, look, I can see that you're really scared, and I see that you don't think you're worthy, and I see you're terrified that this whole thing is going to bomb and blow up, and that everyone's going to know you're a fraud. And I acknowledge and respect that as being very real, but you are a part of this family. You're just as much a part of this family as all the other human emotions. And I'm never going to tell you to leave. You get to be in the minivan with the rest of the family. I just can't let you drive. So you can be with us, but you're going to sit in the back with the other kids. Panic, anxiety, terror, all of them. And I know, fear, that your role in the family is that we're going on a road trip toward creativity and adventure, the new or big thing that we want to do. And I understand that your role is to sit in the back and scream that we're all going to die. And you do it really well. And you just keep doing that because we're going anyway.
That really is an on point quote. Like, thank you. Yeah. So want to cover a little bit about what character defects are before we close up and give you an opportunity to share. The term character defect refers to any sort of personality challenge that you notice in yourself that is affecting your life in a negative aspect. They are blind spots, and they affect your thoughts and your behavior. And if left unchecked, we will find 1,000 ways to justify them. And so like when somebody checks you, like hopefully you're hanging out with people who will check you and be like, you're the one who said you were going to do the meeting, and be fearless about it. It's a way for us to blame others, you know, and when we blame others, we give them the reins to our life, we give them the keys to our prison, and we make them the boss of us, because they own us now. You know, we are holding space in our minds for them. And blaming others requires that we shoot an arrow out into the world and that it always hits us in our own back. And that's how blame works. So we really want to look at, where am I blaming the world? This is called a blind spot. So how do we stop blaming others and take back the reins of our own life and take 100% responsibility for our lives? We take a look at our part. And we look at these character defects and we let ourselves become aware of them. We notice where we have points of pain, and we notice where we are, you know, trying to change the chairs around on the Titanic instead of going underneath to the belly of the boat and assessing the holes that we have shot in our own boat and begin filling the holes of our own boat. So that's how we begin to work with our character defects. Figuring out our character defects is sometimes sort of hard, but here's a really easy way to do it. Look at the person that you hate. Look at the person that you hate more than anything else in the world, or even the one that agitates you, or the one that's sort of annoying. Really look at their character defects and then figure out how they're actually yours, because they are. You spot it, you got it. Which again, this is not easy work. We don't want to take responsibility. We want to justify. We want to pretend that we had nothing to do with it. We want to blame the world, but this does not lead to spiritual evolution. It leads to just rolling around in the muck and mire of our own bullshit. So it's time to, like, you know, adult into your spiritual authority. And this is how we do it. So admitted to God, ourselves, and others the exact nature of our wrongs. This is my shortcoming. This is my short temper. This is my short-sightedness. This is my inability to write down where I need to be at a certain time. And I started this, like this pain point started with me. Ouch. You know, that kind of hurts, but it only hurts the ego. And then we ask God to help us remove these character defects. And we begin to look at, where am I angry? Where do I have economic insecurity? And where is that fear affecting my life? Where am I selfish? Where am I being dishonest? And in the 12 step, it asks us to go deep. It says rigorous honesty. So it's not just to say, like, where am I being dishonest, but to literally, like, go deep with it. Where do I water down the truth? Where do I attempt to tell you what you want to hear? Where do I say things so that I won't be rejected? Where do I say that I have plans when I just don't want to engage with you? You know, where do I say I'm fine when I'm totally not fine? Where do I agree to things that I am totally not in agreement with? And even, where do I say nothing when I'm supposed to speak up? That's just one way to be rigorously honest in one character defect. We want to go all the way there. That's what it means to be rigorous. That's what it looks like. So the assessment, it can kind of feel like it's not meant to harm you. It's meant to liberate you. And it's there to help us to have a more transparent version of ourselves, so that we can truly show up to who we're here to be and truly liberate yourself. It's almost like you want to ask, like, how real do I want to be? As long as I'm blaming somebody, you know, I'm hiding from the truth, and hiding equals hell. So we admitted to God, to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. We got a sponsor, we got somebody that we trusted, and we began to work out the riddles of our own insanity. AA asks us to take an inventory with a trusted friend. A Course in Miracles asks us to heal our minds with the Holy Spirit and not hold anyone outside of our hearts. Now, I came to A Course in Miracles through the 12 steps, so I got the privilege of working through this with a trusted friend. If you started at A Course in Miracles, I wouldn't. If you do it just with the Holy Spirit, you have the ability to possibly spiritually bypass some deep and good work. So I would invite you to actually do the 12 steps. There is an opportunity when we're just working with the Holy Spirit to say, like, yeah, I worked that out. But when you're sitting with another human being and you're really letting them look and hold up a mirror for you, it's a little bit different than with the Holy Spirit. So I would suggest that you attempt to do that, rigorous honesty. So we live between these two things, rigorous honesty and easy does it. Rigorous and easy seems like they're not compatible, But I believe that these two concepts are actually compatible, that they really do work well together, to be rigorous, honest, and to take it easy on yourself. And I promise you that if you do these two things, that you will have extravagant promises. I know Megan wants to tell you what those extravagant promises are for this week.
So just to recap. So 5 is, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we'll see how our experience can benefit others. And then 6, the feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. And really, I feel that uselessness and self-pity has disappeared when I am of service to others. And really, when I embody the saying, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's
I want to be both.
I want to be both.
Right and happy.
Right and happy. We're going to keep coming back, Maureen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Megan. We're going to pass it to Maureen, and stick around so we can hear what you have to say about this conversation, how to apply it, and how it's working for you.
Good day to all. We would like to thank everyone for being here and everyone who shares their time, talents, and financial gifts with our community. We are a non-for-profit organization, and your donations allow us to offer free classes and events all throughout the week. We do have on the chat a little link for your donations, which we truly appreciate. Throughout the week, we offer all these classes that are free to support you in your spiritual journey. Our calendar is packed, so you can find something every day. This week, we have on Wednesdays at noon Central Time, we have 12 Steps to Miracles meeting, and also on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central. It's our second 12-step miracles, 12 Steps to Miracles meeting. You can find all of our classes at speakeasyspiritualcommunity.com. Just check it out. Go to the top where it says calendar, click the calendar, and all the information is there. You can register for classes and find the links to that. And I pass it to Beth.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mari. I'm here to share with you a class that's starting tomorrow night. We are going to be beginning the Keys to the Kingdom series. Again, we did that last spring with amazing results. And so we are going to start, it starts tomorrow night at 7:30. And I wanted to share with everyone a little bit that's actually from the workbook that shares like what is the purpose of this class. So here it is. The class is Keys to the Kingdom, an advanced course in prosperity consciousness building. So we're building consciousness in this class. And it starts with a Bible passage. Your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. And that's from Luke 12:32. And this is what it says in the workbook. Abundance is your spiritual birthright. You do not have to earn abundance or otherwise prove to God that you're worthy of this great gift. You were created in the image and likeness of God, out of God itself, and you deserve to live an abundant, prosperous, happy, fulfilling, and successful life simply because you exist. True abundance is not just having more material good in your life. It's actually a deep spiritual awareness that God is the ultimate source of your good. The reason you may not be living with the sense of abundance you desire lies entirely within your own consciousness. The gift of infinite possibilities has already been given to you, but it's up to you to accept it in your thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, and actions. The Keys to the Kingdom is an advanced 7-week course in building a new consciousness that actually accepts this very truth. And acceptance of true abundance is what we're after here. So the course offers 1, a new vision of your highest potential and a greater sense of personal power. 2, a new understanding of spiritual law and your partnership with spirit. 3, a greater appreciation for the goodness of life and freedom from the past. Does that sound familiar? I'm seeing a blending of spiritual teachings and a new way of living that will keep you in the flow of true abundance. So the course itself has a fee for the workbook and the audio recordings, and that's $42. And then additionally, participants must be prepared to make an extraordinary 7-week commitment. And that is to attend the Keys to the Kingdom class, to tithe of your time, talent, and of your treasure, and apply the principles to your life. So if you're willing to make this commitment, you will profoundly alter your experience of life's abundance and the awareness of your own highest potential. And that is a guarantee. And we saw amazing things happen with this last round. Speakeasy as a community truly flourished. And, you know, for myself, I expanded on so many levels in terms of my voice, my ministry, with my family personally, and then here in this community. I mean, I really got in the flow. And you had an experience too, didn't you, Maureen?
Yeah, I had an experience where my finances were healthy, but I thought I was going to get like a windfall. I was like waiting for like a big check to arrive. So it didn't happen. I'm like, oh, we're teaching this. I'm doing all this stuff. Like, how come I didn't get a windfall? And I was like, okay, I'll be open to creative windfalls. And I got this idea to write this script and pitch it to a friend of mine, which, I mean, it was so far outside my comfort zone, but I did it. And this was in March, and I gave it to her, and I gave her the pitch in May, and in August I gave her. So we just did a reading of the script like 2 days ago, and Beth played a part. It was awesome. And so I don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm no longer living in like a restricted place around my infinite possibilities, which is freaking huge. So yeah, I invite everybody to show up to that if you're interested in, and if you're up for like healing and expanding your prosperity. I mean, that's it. It's $42 for the class. It goes to the guy who created the class, and the tithing goes to Speakeasy. And if this is a real like comfort in this comfort zone, like we get to walk through it together, talk about facing your fears. But it might be time. So anyway, thank you, Beth, for hosting that with me.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to you now. We want to hear what you have to say.